All right, what's up and welcome to the channel. My name is Hegshot. Thank you for joining us for the top 5 working man guns. This is to commemorate all the hardworking men and women out there that love firearms. And when I put this list together, when I think of a hardworking person, obviously I'm thinking of somebody that busts their butt every single day, puts food on the table for their families, goes to work, does an awesome job. And I'm also thinking about firearms that could fit almost anybody's budget, or anybody, you could save up and hit this. I could talk about all these high-end firearms, but when I think about working man's guns, I'm thinking about somebody that's carrying that gun every day, that really has it for a purpose, and something that is easily accessible as far as the budget goes. So that's what we're going to be talking about. If this is your first time joining me, man, please make sure you hit that button down below, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and a comment after the video. Let me know what your favorite working man gun list would look like. So the first working man gun that I can think of is the AR-15. This is America's gun, okay? And this is what a lot of Americans use for self-defense. They use it for the range. This is truly a life and liberty gun. So if we think back to the founding of our country, those guys, they all had muskets. That was America's gun then. It's kind of transformed and changed over time to the AR-15, and this is an awesome rifle for a lot of reasons. One reason being is that you can get into them on the more budget side of things. Now there are some pretty cheap options out there, really cheap, that I would consider staying away from, because obviously if it's something you're going to use for home protection, you want to make sure that that gun is working. But a mid-level $500 to $800 AR-15 is something you can find pretty much all day. A couple of brands that come to mind: Ruger, Smith & Wesson. Those are two of my favorite in that type of range. Typically $600 to $900 for those, I would say, depending on where you go, of course. But the AR-15 is awesome, man. You can customize to your heart's desire. Typically, I don't do a lot with them. I'll put a sight on it, and things like that. Nothing too crazy, but I like to keep it pretty simple there for the most part. But you can easily shoot these out to range. You can take it out for a range day, have a good time with your family, have a good time with your buddies, and it's something that you could actually get into pretty cheaply. So for a working man, the AR-15 is a must-have for any gun owner in the United States. Absolutely love the AR-15. Next option is some kind of shotgun, some kind of tactical shotgun or home defense shotgun, or even a shotgun to go bird hunting or something like that. Whatever you feel that shotgun that you need to fill that role. A shotgun is a working man's gun. It has so many different purposes, from hunting, self-protection, all of these kinds of things, that it can really be a useful tool. And the one I'm showing you right here is the new one from Smith & Wesson. I haven't done a lot of shotgun work, to be honest with you. We've had the DP12, I've handled the KSGs, never shot one. So obviously shotguns come in a variety of makes and models. You have, your Mossbergs, and you have your Remingtons, and it really just depends on what you're using that shotgun for. This is more of a tactical model, so a home defense type of setup exclusively. Of course, if you have something like this Charles Daly right here, super long barrel. I think this one actually has like a 24-inch barrel on it. This is primarily set up for like bird hunting, okay? This one obviously is set up for home defense. So any kind of shotgun, they're so versatile. You can do so many things with them. A shotgun is, besides the AR-15, it's pretty much the definition of a working man's gun. It is a great, versatile gun that pretty much every working man should have in their collection for sure. All right, the next working man gun we're going to talk about will be some kind of a 22, and what comes to mind with a 22 is a 1022 from Ruger, or a Smith & Wesson Victory, which is what you're seeing right here on the screen, a pistol variety 22. And these are great because you can shoot a lot for pretty cheap. You can take your kids to the range and teach them safely on a 22, or your spouse or anybody you can really teach on a 22. Low recoil, super easy to manage, easy to load generally, and easy to shoot. And that's what's the great thing about 22. It's such just American round, you know, and you know, from your grandfather and your father talking about stories about shooting cans with a 22, and you maybe coming up as a child like I did, shooting with a 22, shooting cans and squirrels and anything else. It's just a great round. And that's one thing about it too, is it can be pretty versatile, especially in the small game realm as far as hunting, training, shooting, having a good time, any kind of 22. And generally your 22s are going to be not nearly as expensive. If you want to go with something a little bit more updated than a 1022, although there's a huge variety of 1022s from the most tactical version to the most basic version, you could also go with something like an AR style 1022 from like Smith & Wesson or any one of these companies that you actually have a conversion kit. Heck, if you have an AR-15, you could get a 22 conversion kit for that. Updated mag, bolt, all of that good stuff, and you're good to go. So that's a pretty cool option right there. But any 22 is super American and definitely a working man's round, especially in times like this where ammo is just crazy and you just want to get a little bit of practice in, you just want to shoot a little bit. 22 is a great all around just caliber to have in your collection. Next one we're going to talk about is any form of semi-automatic pistol, and the one I have here is a Glock 19 Gen 5. What really comes to mind here, and again, I'm kind of thinking about more on the budget end, is going to be like a SIG P320, a Smith & Wesson M2.0 series, maybe even a CZ P10 series, Glock series of pistols. It's really hard to go wrong with any of these. They're going to feel a little bit different in the hand. They're going to have a little bit different features. They're going to shoot a little bit different. And that's essentially it. But any one of these 15 to 17 round firearms are great, man. Self-protection, conceal carry. By the way, if you're carrying, good holster, good gun belt. I have links down below for those. I know some of you guys get tired of hearing that, but you got to understand, a lot of people come into our videos and they've never seen our videos. So I have to emphasize that stuff because it's a huge time and money saver if you know, hey, if I'm going to carry a gun, have a good holster and gun belt. So there you go. There's that right there. But having a gun like this is good because you have your intermediate size. You have it's a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to suck up the recoil for the most part if you're a newer shooter or whatever the case may be. If you have somebody that maybe this is your home defense gun, you don't want something super small, a good range gun, something that you can take out there, have a good time. You don't have to reload a ton. And it's pretty versatile in that way. It's something that, you know, you could keep in your truck, although typically for like truck guns, if you will, truck guns, I would prefer to have something that's really on the lower budget. And the only reason I say that is because if it gets stolen, well, then you're out that gun. I don't know, insurance might cover it, or if you're with the USCCA or something like that, you might have insurance to cover it, but generally cheaper and reliable is what I would consider a really good truck gun, although these aren't too expensive. Any one of these guns I just mentioned in this range are $500 to like $650 depending on where you shop. Again, it's just one of those things. You can change your sights out, you can do any number of things, but this size gun, which is considered the compact in pretty much all these lineups, is a awesome, versatile, definitely working man's type of semi-automatic. I definitely prefer 9mm. That's our caliber of choice. You can go with whatever you feel you need to go with, but 9mm does the job, and this is just an all-around great size pistol. And there was no way I was going to do this video and not include some kind of conceal carry because, let's face it, working men and women, sometimes we're working late, sometimes we might be in a sketchy area of town. Whatever your job calls for, wherever you are, heck, even if you're in Walmart, we do our own shopping. We have to do everything for our own, and that's another reason I put this list together, because anybody and everybody could talk about whatever kind of gun control they want, especially if they have security. But you are your own security, okay? So that means that you have to do everything yourself, and concealed carry is a huge part of what I preach and teach here, essentially. And what I think of in this realm is the Taurus GX4. Believe it or not, this has been a really great working man's type of carry gun. Taurus G3, talked about the quote-unquote truck gun. That might be a good option for you as too. And there's a lot of great like console safes and stuff that you can actually put in your truck or put in your vehicle. just so you know, there are some great options for that as well. But Conceal Carry, M&P Shield, M&P Shield Plus, the Ruger Max 9, the Ruger LCPs, the Glock 43s and 42s. Those aren't my favorite carry guns by any means, but definitely a working man's option, the P365. And any of these guns from $350 to $600 can basically be had. And that's what I think about when it comes to a working man's concealed carry pistol. Super important to have this, get your permit, and whatever training you have to do in your state, if any at all, is super important to have your concealed carry gun. So there you go. There are my top 5 working man's guns. I want to hear what yours are down in the comments below. And make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.